teleprompter and say this. I'm asking questions because about that, same thing with that like authenticity. I want to hear the real, in their own words, response to these questions. So that's a lot of what we do is we craft these questions to get the responses that we want, or that are fulfilling the needs of the video. But no matter the case, how you go about it, the scripting and the outlining and the planning is a crucial step in the video production process, because you want to have a plan before you pick up your camera and start recording. If you start recording, you're just kind of recording aimlessly and you have all this content, and then you put it on the computer and you're in editing and you're just like, it's a mess and you don't know, what am I even creating with this? So you want to have a vision of what the final thing should look like first. Write out how, what's the messaging? Is it going to be 3 minutes? Is it going to be 10 minutes? Is it going to be inside or outside? Who's in the video? What are they saying? Are we going to see graphics on screen? Just use this is where it's fun, and you use your creative imagination to visualize what this end product looks like and put it all down on paper. Now you have like a recipe for the rest of the project. So now you pick up the camera, okay, we wanted to film something outside, let's go schedule that shoot and we'll do that. We want to interview inside, let's schedule that, and then you execute the plan, and then now you have basically everything you need to get the video done in editing. So while planning is a crucial step, the script writing is a crucial step. It's like sets a clear target and a path for the rest of the project. So thank you for asking that. It's a really crucial part, is the script writing. Yeah. Something else I want to say, but any other? Oh, you had your, did you have your hand up? No? Okay. Yeah. So I had a little bit more getting into the recording of the video and the script creation. Lighting and sound are like two really, really crucial parts of any video production. We've got to be able to see you, and we have to be able to hear you. So choosing a location that has good lighting, whether it's overhead lighting or a lamp, or you buy a video light, or there's a window, you want to make sure we have good lighting, we can see your face, because people relate to that face, your eyes, the mouth, the emotions, the feeling that you're giving off in the video. People relate to that. So we want to make sure we can see you clearly, and it's nice to have a microphone, like a little lavalier, clip-on microphone, something where we can get good audio and hear what you're saying clearly. We talked about this script, and again, have fun. Enjoy the process. It's usually not a live broadcast, so if you mess up, that's okay. And sometimes the bloopers, the outtakes, turn into really good, fun video for social media. Share that, and that's the authenticity in the real. It's like, yeah, I'm a human being, I make mistakes. Let's all enjoy that now. So you can make use of the outtakes as well. There's some free editing software here I want to share. Canva, iMovie. Windows Movie Maker is a little outdated, but I think you can still get it available. CapCut is that they have a free version, and that's I think they make a lot of use of AI in CapCut. But some of these freebies, they will put a watermark on the video when you export it, so you have to watch out for that. DaVinci Resolve, in my opinion, is the most powerful free software. It can be used really simply or really complex. It depends on your ability level, but I think there's a lot of room for growth. And they have a paid version as well with some extra features, but DaVinci Resolve is my number one. And I think that's about it. Basic editing process. After you're done shooting, you transfer your files onto the computer. You gotta watch everything. I'm working with a guy right now on a documentary about unresolved trauma, and he's got 30 hours of interviews that we have to go through and watch and log and take notes on every moment about what these people are talking about, because he wants to make a feature-length film documentary. And he's like, I don't think we really need to watch everything. Like, you pull up a clip and I'll just tell you what they talk about. I'm like, no. Like, there's going to be things you forgot. Like 30 hours of content, this is months and months and months of filming and weeks going by, and then filming and weeks going by, and filming. So we've done about 8 hours of working together now, like logging this footage, and every single hour, he's like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, now I got a new idea from this. And it's just like, you have to watch the footage. Because especially as the interviewer, you might be thinking like, is that light too bright over there? What's my next question? I'm sweating, this is hot in here. Like, you might not be fully present with that person, but when you watch the footage later, it's a different experience, and you're a different person. Like, in that moment 3 months ago when you did the interview, you didn't have 3 months of experience that where you are now watching it. Like, you're a whole different person. And so it's really crucial to watch the footage, absorb it, and then you can put something together that's really impactful. Yeah. A Life for a Life. That's the name of the book that's going to be turned into a documentary. All right, so quick review. You have the power to create your own reality and realities for others by using thoughts to create feelings to drive action. And you know, can enhance your consumer journey or sales process with video at any stage. And yeah, you have the power, and I hope you use it for good. Thank you for having me. Surprise! Thought I was done. Thought you was done too.
Testing 1, 2. All right. Well, I was just put on the spot. I didn't know. I thought we were done too. But so Pastor Sammy said, ask 2 questions and then get 1 question from the audience. So that's the format that we're going to follow. So I would like for you to elaborate just a little bit more because I asked question number 1 from the back. But I would like for you to just elaborate a little bit more on the impact of AI on social media, possibly, video production, and the positives and the negatives that we as a society will encounter through AI as far as videos are concerned. Because I'm seeing things on social media that I think is real. It's like, wow, this is really happening, but it's really fake. So we're moving into a society now where we're going to have to examine everything to determine whether it's real or whether it's not real. And how much time is that going to take up? So just elaborate on that.
No, I think that that's, to me, part of the negative, is it creates doubt and confusion. Is this real or is it not? And then what, you know, could it be used for? Like I said earlier, there's a lot of power when it comes to creating videos. You know, you can embed thoughts and feelings and make people do things based on the feelings that they're feeling. So if people are creating AI videos that are malicious or making people feel fear in some way or doubt, or that could certainly have a negative impact. I think it comes back to the creator, because from my understanding, the AI videos, there's still a human creator who prompted it. As far as I know, it's not just running, AI isn't out there making its own videos. There's always a human being prompting it. So I think the power still is with us as human beings and the creator of how we're prompting it and telling it what to do. So I mean, my hope and prayers are that people are coming from a loving place in the creations that they're putting out there. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. There's people out there who are creating stuff that's not so great and does cause confusion. So, you know, I said this a little bit earlier about like doing your own research and your due diligence. So if like, you know, if you see a video that's questionable, take a moment to take an action on it, like take a positive action. Either call it out in a comment, or dislike it, or say don't show me this anymore, or go to that creator's page and maybe reach out to them and like, why are you creating this? What was your purpose? What's your intention? And maybe that question that you have for the creator gets them thinking, maybe, you know, you know what? Am I doing something wrong? Am I creating a negative impact with these AI videos? Maybe they could start questioning their own actions if you question it through a comment or through a direct message on social media. But I think we just need to be really aware and really careful about what we're seeing, and take a moment to pause the video and just like let it soak in. Like, what is this really doing? How am I really feeling? Awareness is key, I think.
Right.
And just taking a moment to, instead of just scrolling, take a minute to stop and pause and reflect on what you're seeing. And then you can take a positive action. Because I mean, you're in control of your reality and your mind and your thoughts and your actions. So I would say just like make sure that you're coming from a positive place in yourself. And then when you encounter those potential deep fakes or whatever they are, just take a moment to reflect and then take a positive action for yourself.
Okay. My second question is I heard you talk about a call to action, and the question is, how important is it to include a call to action? And when you say a call to action, give us at least 2 examples of it.
Sure. How important? It's critical. It is absolutely critical. The worst thing is somebody watches a video and then at the end they're like, why did I even watch that? What is it? What am I supposed to do now? I've seen documentaries where they present all these problems and then it just like ends and I'm like, well great, like now I'm just like sad about all these problems. What can I do? So I'd say it's critical to provide a call to action. A call to action in business might be, call me at this phone number.
Okay.
Schedule a discovery call. Click this link below the video. Fill out the form below the video. On social media, it might be follow me, subscribe, like, comment, share, stuff like that.
Okay.
Retention videos, it might be sign up for our newsletter so you stay up to date on our new announcements and things like that. On those documentaries, it could be like go to this website to join the petition or find out ways you can get involved in your community about whatever the cause is.
Right.
But it's absolutely critical to have a call to action.
Must have a call to action.
Oh yes, whatever it is.
Okay. All right. You still want one question, Pastor Sammy? Okay.
I think we got a lot. Of
One question.
Oh, we do.
Question.
I think we got a lot of questions earlier.
A lot of questions earlier. Okay. Let's give our guests a hand. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Can we put hands together one more time for the speaker? Right about now, we have one of us in the house. We just must listen to her. She's a professional. Then with the presidency, the governors, she comes out for them. And then we cannot but just listen to her. Put your hands together for this summer.
Thank you, Pastor Sammy. Thank you, First Lady. Thank you, church. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone? We're almost at afternoon. How's everyone feeling today? Good, good. Okay, it's good to see a lot of energy in the room. I'm not going to be in front of you long because I know we're running on time, but just want to talk to you a little bit about what I do, and that's consulting with social media and also consulting on image and presence. So I work in public relations. So part of what that is putting together press conferences, working with the media, helping people with their image, how they present themselves. So what I'm going to talk about really briefly today is how to be a star on social media and in person. How to make that image that you have in person translate online and vice versa. So the easiest way to do that is, do you have a hook? What's a hook? A hook is what you use to get people engaged. What brings them in? What makes them stop in their tracks? If they're scrolling on social media, looking at video after video, what makes them stop and pay attention to you? What makes them watch your video all the way through from beginning to end? Because the algorithms, the way they work, you get more hits if people watch it from the beginning to the end. So you want people to engage with you and watch you from beginning to end. but we also want people to engage with us in person and listen to everything we have to say in person. So whether your audience is an audience of one or an audience of many online, we want to have the same effect, to get people to pay attention to what we say. So how does that translate from social media to in person? So in social media, it's called the hook. In person, it's called the elevator pitch. How many people have heard of the elevator pitch? Everybody, pretty much, right? So the elevator pitch is when you think of somebody who you really want to meet, an executive that you might dream of working with or being around. If you got that chance to be in the elevator with them, what would you tell them in less than a minute, in 30 seconds? How would you get their attention? What would you say? And we know that thoughts become things.
Yeah, it would become a thing for me.
Yes, we know that thoughts become things. Yes. So, right. So it's good that we think about those things ahead of time so that we don't stall. And I can tell you from experience, you might want to think about that because you don't want to get in front of that person and not know what to say. I can tell you my first job was in television. I worked at Channel 2 News. And I had a chance to work on an interview with Shamar Moore. Anybody know Shamar Moore?
I know Shamar.
Okay, so the interviewer said, "Do you have a question for him, Summer?" And I said, "Huh?" Let me tell you, he was a very nice man.
He is.
He was very easy on the eyes.
He is.
And he was very sweet. So when they got to meet, so I'm just like so into everything he's saying. And they said, "So what's your question?" I forgot my question. I lost my train of thought. I said, "Huh?"
But he was a sweetheart.
He is. He was really a sweetheart. So that's why it's important to have your elevator pitch in your head, to have it already rehearsed. Because if you actually get a chance to meet somebody famous or somebody that you might like or want to meet, you got to have it already rehearsed so you know what to say. You don't do what I did. Because, I mean, hey, I did get an autograph, and he said somewhere it was lovely. And I keep that picture always because I'm glad he thought it was lovely because I had nothing to say. Oh my gosh, it was really embarrassing. But we live and we learn. And that's why I'm here today, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So moving forward, I learned to think about people that I wanted to meet. And you know what, when you think about people you want to meet, that actually does come to pass. Because a lot of times people that I thought about I wanted to meet, I have had the opportunity to meet them. So doing that, after that experience, I thought about things I wanted to say, and I was prepared when I met that person. Trust me, when I met other people, I was ready. So when the opportunity presented itself, I knew what to say. So we're going to talk briefly about how to do a hook, give you an example of how to do a hook on social media so that people pay attention, and then how to make that translate into in person in an elevator pitch, okay? So, if you're on social media, one thing you can say is, we want to talk about what we do and how we can help other people. Because a lot of times our communication is coming from the perspective of me and how it affects me. So we want to focus our communication on the other person and how we can affect them and help them. What can we do to make their life improve? So when we think about it from that perspective, my hook might be, are you stuck right now? Let me tell you some ways to make today your day to be unstuck. That would be a social media hook. Have you been having problems sleeping? Let me tell you what worked for me. That's a social media hook. Because somebody is having problems sleeping, they're going to stop and say, well, what worked for you? You know, if I'm feeling stuck in life, I'm going to stop and say, well, what worked for her? That's a hook. So if I'm meeting, so how does that translate in person? In person, what I would say is, for my personal profession, what I would say is, I am a person that works with politicians and help them win.
Absolutely. Sound good to me.
I am a person who helps people learn how to communicate better and get to their goals so they can grow and make money. So then, what's the goal after that? People say, tell me more.
Get on.
Tell me more. That's what you want. You want people to say, tell me more. My grandmother, I used to visit her every day after I got off from work. And she used to love to see me coming because when I would come in the door, I said, Grandma, I got some hot tea for you. And she said, ooh, child, spill it. The same thing translates. It was a hook. She would wait for me to come because she knew I had some good, exciting, juicy news to tell her.
Okay.
And she would be sitting on the edge of her seat. Tell me what's going on. And she loved social media because that was what I was doing. I was teaching her Snapchat and Facebook and all that good stuff. She loved all those things. So that's what a hook is. How do we get people to stop scrolling and look at you, pay attention to what you have to say? So think about when you're making your videos, what can I say in the first sentence to make people pay attention to me? Think about, even when you're going live, first think about what you want to talk about, and then come up with a creative way to introduce your topic, and then the rest of it will flow. If you have a creative way to introduce the topic, say for instance, give me a topic. War. Okay. CPR. Okay. So, have you been in a situation when somebody needed help and you didn't know what to do? I'm going to show you how. That's a hook. Don't be caught off guard if someone you love needs help. Let me show you how to be prepared. CPR. So that's a way to make people stop in their tracks and say, oh, I want to learn CPR. So they'll watch your video all the way through. In person, how that translates is, I'm someone who teaches people how to save lives. I'm someone who teaches people the skills they need to save lives in a crisis situation.
Right.
So you tell people how you can help them, and they'll say, tell me more. And you'll say, well, I'm a CPA and a CPR instructor. I can do classes in person, or I can do classes at your location, or you can come to my facility. And then you can talk to the person and get a client. So that's basically what you want to do. Be able to hook the people and get them interested enough to say, tell me more. And from there, you can build a connection. So I don't want to keep you long. I just kind of want to give you a few tips on how to hook people from social media or in person and be a star and make that translate. So either way, if you're talking to them online or you're talking to them in person, you can reel them in, get the sale, get the connection, get the network, and get whatever you need from communicating. All right, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
I think the crowd wants to know how, for those like myself who this is their first time meeting you, how can one stay in contact with you if they were seeking services like the ones you provide?
Sure, I have cards. I will give you my card if you need that. I'm online. I'm on social media. It's Summer Joy, SUMMARJOI.
I love that too.
Yes, Summer Joy on all social media, so you can reach me that way. And it's summerjoy@gmail is my email, so you can reach me that way. But I also have cards. So
I love your summer joy.
thank you. Thank you.
It sounds
I
very
have
welcoming and inviting.
Thank
And I think that that's something that maybe people need to consider too when they do social media. How welcoming or inviting is it?
I can't take credit for that. I have to give her credit.
Well, that's okay. Mama did it.
She helped me with the branding of the name.
Okay, thank God. I love it.
Okay, okay. This one? Okay.
And we are back. Here we go. All right. I didn't realize how big time you were, Summer. Yeah. I mean that. As far as social media is concerned, I didn't know you worked at Channel 2. Wow.
Yes.
All right. So 2 questions, and if anyone else has questions, my first question is this: what impact has the digital divide had on? What impact has the digital divide had on society up to this point, especially in the area of social media?
I think the digital divide has made a huge impact because so many people don't get the information they need. It's just like back in the day when people say if you want information, people not to know, put it in a book.
Right.
It's the same thing. So many people don't have access to the internet, so they don't have access to the information on social media.
Right.
So it's really important that people learn about social media, not just having access, but knowing how to use it so they can be able to use it for their benefit. Because it's not just for fun. Some people think it's just using it for fun, but it's more than just that. It's for connection, it's for education. You can learn so much and connect so many ways with different people who are in your field, with people who have knowledge to share with you, whatever you're doing. So, I mean, the digital divide is really, it's really impactful because so many people are like missing out, especially politically.
Okay.
I work in politics a lot, so especially politically, so many people are beyond the curve. They have no idea what's happening, and those things affect their everyday lives.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. I know you deal a lot in social media, so forth and so on. I heard somewhere where social media can become addictive.
It is.
And with that being the case, especially with young people. So the second question is, how much social media is too much social media, and is there a limit to social media, or how much social media we should take in?
I think that is, it works for the individual. You have to monitor yourself because with social media, as our previous speaker, Kyle, stated about the dopamine hit, you can start, for instance, on TikTok and watch a video and scroll to the next and the next and the next. And before you know it, it's hours have gone by. And those are hours that you have wasted. You can't get that time back.
Right.
So you have to be good at managing your time in life, just in general. Because if you're not, then you're going to just get addicted to social media and start scrolling and scrolling and missing out on life. So many people don't even go outside anymore.
Right.
It's the same thing with the video games. They get on video games and play all day. You know, it's a big world out there. You know, you can connect on social media, but it's not the same as in person. So that's why I always teach people in person and social media at the same time.
All right. Any more questions? No more questions? All right.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think I was going to ask the question as it pertains to the generation now who has come up with social media, and a lot of them know how to use it, and I'm just concerned about the children and how the social media impacts mental health of young children, mainly people of color, and so that's what I want to hear more about, like, how is this whole social media thing impacting our children? Because I know when I came up, we didn't have that big of a deal with social media. You know, it wasn't like people looked to social media to see what was happening, what was going on, what was the latest fashion, what we eating, what we cooking, where we hanging. You can do all that now. So I'm like, for the newer generations that's coming up with that, I just want to know what type of impact is it having on them? Because I see some negative effects because it's affecting people's mental health, and I think at that point it's dangerous. And so we have to have limits, and I just don't know how to navigate it. It's like you can't cut them off because they're in the world with this technology, and you want them to know how to use it, but they might be too young to understand all the dangers involved. So what do we do? I mean, I know the parental controls, but I'm saying, like, I'm not in favor of giving kids phones. I'm not in favor of but I want them to know how to work it. Don't get me wrong, because all the young people I know how to work it. They be like 4 and 5, 3 and 2, and I'm like, wow. I don't know if I would give my kid a phone. So that's a question. At what age is it appropriate for kids to start interfacing with technology? And how much supervision will they need to do it safely?
And that's a great point, because nowadays more kids know social media
Than the
better
parents.
than the parents.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
do.
teaching the
'Cause I
parents
go
how
to
to.
the parent. I go to
Yeah,
kids.
the kids will teach you how to do certain
That's what
things
I'm
on the
saying.
phone and
That's
social
right.
media. They can tell you
right.
how to work it,
Yeah.
and so they can navigate better than the
Yeah.
adults. They are very well versed in it. I think it's about educating the adults more so, because see, the children are growing up in an age where they're immersed in social media. Right.
Yeah.
So this is already a part of their lives where we grew up with social media progressed.
Yes.
And I think about when I was a teenager in high school, and it was certain styles that people were wearing, certain designers that people were wearing, and you felt the pressure to dress a certain way, to be a certain way, to do a certain thing. But it's magnified now because of social media. You have that pressure magnified because you not only look at the people in your school or in your community, but you got everybody, the whole world, you know, the pressure to carry designer bags in high school and college. And I mean, you're not working a full-time job. How you carrying a designer bag? So, you know, it's all about educating the adults to get them up to speed so that they can let their children know about the self-esteem and help them understand that you are more than what you wear and what you see on social media, because we have so many things out there on social media, such as hashtag couple goals. You see a couple that's dressed nice and you think that they have a wonderful life, but you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Right. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. They just have a nice looking picture. You don't know. They might not even be living together. But they're going out and putting this image together to say couple goals.
Right.
So it's all about public relations and image. They're doing this to make money. It's again like with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. They're everywhere. So everybody wants to emulate that. But you don't know what's really going on in their relationship. You don't really know. But all these girls want that. That's the fairy tale. They said the gym teacher and the math teacher are getting married. So now everybody wants to be the gym teacher and the math teacher.
All right.
But you know, you got to learn how to be an individual and not follow what is trending and what everybody else is doing.
So let's take that question she said, let's divert it to the opposite. How would you convince the older generation to get onto the media, because that's what society is going straight to today? So how would you convince the older generation, because we're used to doing everything by books, right? Everything for us is book, pencil,
Or going to
pen.
the library or something.
Right.
So what would you say?
Well, going back to my grandmother. My grandmother's no longer here, but when she was here, that's how I would get her into social media. When I would say, I got some hot tea, and she would say, spill it. So I would pull out my phone and be like, Grandma, look at this. So that's how I got her into social media. So she was like, child, what is Rachel doing? What is Bertha and them doing? So like her family in New Jersey or her family somewhere else, she wanted to know how to keep up with them. We would keep up on Facebook. So what they doing?
So let's take out the hot news. Let's go into a working atmosphere. And now everything is really computerized in a working atmosphere. So how would you, if you have an older person, you're trying to get them to learn the computer, how would you, or what would you say to get them to try to get up to date with society today?
I would tell them that it's not as hard as you think it is. And it is beneficial to use because it will make your life so much easier. Because you want to know what everybody else knows. You don't want to be the person that's the last to know. I always say I don't like secondhand news. So I don't want everybody else to know, and I'm the last person to know. So if you're not on social media, you're just gonna be the last person to know because news travels so fast. You know, unless you don't mind that, but I mean, news travels so fast that people are like, you know, events are happening, things are going on, and you just miss out unless somebody tells you.
Right.
All right, we just got the signal from the side
Oh,
to keep
I
it
was
moving now. All right, go ahead,
I was
Charlene.
just gonna say one good thing about social media that I do like.
Okay.
It's like when things are actually happening live, the people who video it, I like that because you get to see raw footage. Not something that's been tweaked or whatever. I like the raw footage, so I can go through it myself and make my own determination. Like, I don't need you to tell me the conclusion to get to. Let me see it, and I will come to my own conclusion. So that's the part I like. That's what I wanted to add about the raw footage. Like, and the reason I say that is because actually I was out of the country, but I was looking at a video of the chasing of the guy from the police department.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying why I like the raw footage, because it wasn't coming from somebody in media or somebody, it was just coming from a layperson in the community. This guy really, and what was fascinating about it to me, because I think as parents we teach our kids, listen to the cops, stop, try to obey, try to, you know, black people, we always teach our kids how to cooperate with cops. However, we never taught our kids to trust their guts. We have to teach our kids, we have to reteach, trust your gut, baby. Because had this particular child listened to trying to comply, there was no rationality in that. It was no rationalizing what occurred. It was just, this person was just out of it that particular time. So the reason I brought that up was because I think the raw footage with social media is bringing a lot of things to light that we wouldn't really see because nobody is out there covering it except for community people. So if we don't have them, then, and so that's why I like it.
Right, because we're getting more of what's really happening and people are being held accountable.
That's right. Absolutely, and I like that stuff.
All right.
I'm sorry, I have one question.
Okay.
Speaking of raw footage, how can we find a video of your Shamar Moore interview?
Luckily for me, that was not on video. Thank God. Because we serve a good God. Hallelujah. Thank you.
I just wanted to add about Shamar. He is a really nice dude. He is really nice. He came here for a play or something. I went to the play and I met him too, so he's very nice.
Without wasting much time, about now we'll just go to our next speaker. And she's a life coach, a planning expert, putting things together. This is Zoe around the door, so put things together. Sorry, I'm not running the video now because of our time.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm glad that I got invited back, so I guess I didn't fail the last time I was here. So I'm happy to see some familiar faces and some new ones. I'm Nasonia Narado, and I'm just going to hang on a little bit. My slides. All right. Thank you. As we load them up, in just a second. Quick question for you guys. I want to know, people in the room, how many full-time entrepreneurs we have in the room. Full-time, 100%. All you do. Awesome. Congratulations. How many part-timers working full-time, business on the side? Okay. Congratulations. Congratulations. How many people are not entrepreneurs but are thinking about it? Scared to become one? Want to start a business but haven't yet? Anyone? Okay, good. I know who's in the room. Can we go back? Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys can see the slides. I got them all over the place. All right. So introduction, I'm Ms. Sonia Nardo, and I'm founder, CEO of Prestigious Planning Services. And I am what I would call a planning expert. I have a serious passion and maybe an obsession with planning. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like today. And we're going to be focusing more so on the entrepreneur and the business as well. And Prestigious Planning Services is the business, and we offer a few different services. We do life planning, travel planning, event planning, organizational planning, as well as consulting. And if you don't mind, I'm going to use my little pad I have here, because although I have glasses on, I can't really see that well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. Quick question for you guys. Behind every business is a what?
Leader.
Leaders, good.
Vision.
Vision, okay. No?
Passion.
All right. Passion, mm-hmm. All right. It's all right. But
Plan.
behind every business is a business owner, right? And a business owner is what? An entrepreneur. It's a person. It's you, right? And so first and foremost, before we start thinking about the strategies, thinking about the vision, thinking about how to be a leader, all those wonderful things, we have to first think about you as an individual. And so that's where the whole life planning piece comes into play with, what we do. And so I can't help but to focus on the individual, because if not for you, it wouldn't be a business, right? And so that's largely what the presentation is going to be about. Okay? And so today's theme is how to master sustainability in challenging times, right? And so let's take a second and actually focus on what sustainability even means, right? And so what does it mean as far as the business goes? Sustainability equals long-term stability, clarity, and the capacity to grow through challenging or changing seasons, okay? And if you can see, I have the statistic here that speaks to the longevity of businesses when they open. And so it says that 20% of businesses close after a year, and then they also say 50% of businesses shut down after 5 years, and 65 after 10 years. So what does that say? That says people have the vision, they have the passion, the interest, the desire, but something is stopping them from keeping their doors open. And so just real quick, what do you guys think that may hinder an individual from being successful in their business? Why they will have to close up their shop? I heard money. Yes, that's a big thing. Customers, not having the customers, and I heard you say something.
The rent.
Experience is true. Mm-hmm.
No plan.
As you can see, I perked up. Yes, that's very true. Anyone else? Okay, so there's a ton of things, obviously, that keeps individuals from being successful in being a long-term business owner, right? And so let's just look at a few things that that came to mind, and a few things that you mentioned as well. So business goals don't align with lifestyle. Again, we're going to be talking about life aspect and bringing it to business as well. Okay, and so that means, and that looks like, okay, I have a passion, I have a business, and I have an interest, and then I move forward and rush to start this business, but I didn't take time to think about how it may potentially impact my personal life. Okay, how it plays a significant role in my lifestyle, and it may have a negative impact. We all want it to have a positive impact, of course, but sometimes it may have a negative impact if we don't put the necessary plans in place, right? And so being overworked, that leads to burnout. Obviously, it is a lot for those full-time entrepreneurs, even the part-time entrepreneurs. You know that it takes a lot to run a business. And so, it's a lot to work both roles of your job, your personal life, as well as the business. And we want to avoid being burnt out. And also having those systems. If you don't have any systems, you don't have time. It's going to eat up your time, okay? And so we want to make sure we have that structure in place, because if you don't, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Having a big, wonderful vision, but not necessarily having a strategy to line up with it. Not having the plan put in place once you have that strategy and act it out. Okay, and I heard money, lack of revenue. Not having the money come in to sustain the actual business. And so that being a huge issue. I heard customers, of course, customers brings the money, the clients and such, so not having that in place. And of course, social media, we talked about social media, how that plays a significant role, right, in expanding the visibility of your business. So these things, you know, also play a significant role as well. Funding's mismanaged, maybe getting the money, you know, and so this is a thing with a life as well. If you're an individual, let's say, that has complications with spending money, not so great at managing your money, do you think it's going to magically change just because you have a business? No. Those things are going to be carried over into your business. So it's important to have that strong financial management piece before stepping into this new world. And hopefully we'll hear a little bit about that later on today. And of course, lack of planning. Very, very critical in being able to sustain, again, that's the topic of today, sustain your business is planning. So all these wonderful things that we talk about, and we're gonna talk about later today, you gotta go and make a plan. Otherwise, it's just conversation. Otherwise, it's just motivation and inspiration. But we wanna put this to action, okay? And so you gotta have the necessary plan to be in place. All right, now, we talked about what sustainability looks like as a business, so let's talk about what sustainability looks like as an entrepreneur. Again, behind every business is a
Business owner.
yes, good, you're listening. Thank you. So, personal sustainability, mindset, capacity, boundaries, lifestyle. These are things that as a personal individual, if you want to sustain your business, you have to make it a priority. You are the person that is behind your business, okay? A sustainable business starts with a sustainable you, all right? So first and foremost, you as an individual, you are the one that needs to really step up and put those things in place, having a great mindset, making sure you understand your own personal capacity so you're not burnt out, and your boundaries, and understand where you want the vision of not only your business to go, what you want the vision of your life to look like because of your business, okay? And making sure that you put them both together as you're thinking about your business. All right, strategic sustainability. Having a clear vision, clear priorities, and a clear plan. Again, we want to think big. We want to think how we can be magnificent in all that we do, but we have to have a strategy, okay? Nothing comes together without a strategy and without a plan. So it's important to have that aspect in place. Again, we're talking about sustainability, not necessarily just starting the business, but we want it to be sustainable, okay? And so operational sustainability, systems that support the business and your lifestyle. So, it's great to start a business, it's great to have a business, but if you haven't taken the time out to think of what it looks like operationally, you are setting yourself up for failure, okay? Because we want to grow the business, we want to make sure it's sustained, and what happens when you grow the business? More money, yes, but more what? Exactly.
More impact, more all of the above.
More all of the above. And what does that mean? More work.
It does.
And so we don't want to do what? Get overwhelmed, get burnt out. So it's important that we think strategically. First, think personally, right? We don't want to get burned out. Then we think strategically as to what we need to do to make sure we're avoiding that burnout and what operationally needs to happen so we could put that structure and those systems in place to sustain the business. Again, sustainability, financial sustainability, the ability to generate revenue and thrive, keyword, thrive, through economic fluctuations and unexpected challenges, which is the theme for today, right? And so we want to make sure that we have all of these things in place. You can have one or the other, but you're going to be more successful if you have all of these things working simultaneously. Okay. I see a lot of head nods. Does that mean that you guys are following me? Okay, good. So let's talk about what that means, because ultimately, again, the theme is sustainability. So let's break it down a little bit to focus on what exactly this means. So let's start with vision. We've heard, a few people call out very, very important. You have to be able to see yourself, see the business in the future. You have to be able to line up, be in complete alignment, okay? So stop and visualize everything related to where it is you want to be and where it is that you don't want to be in your business as well as your life. And so these are a few questions. What do you want your business to achieve? What do you want your life to look like? And how do these two visions fit together? And most importantly, why? Why do you want all of this? Understand your why. Understand your purpose. Why are you doing all of this? Because that is what's honestly going to get you through those long nights. Those long nights and where, you're in your office working hard and your husband, your wife is like, where are you at? Come to bed and do this. And your kids are nagging on you. And then you're going to look at them and say, I'm doing this because of you. I'm doing this because of our legacy. I'm doing this because of our dream. So it's important that you start that and start your journey with that foundation. And even if you're in your business and you've been doing your business for some years, make time to remind yourself about where you started from and the reason why. Okay, next up, strategy. So, a few things here that I'm going to list. There's a few things that go into the strategy, right? And so before we plan, before we move, before we do anything, after the visualizing and everything, we have to put the strategy in place. So think of it as a big puzzle, right? We're putting all the pieces together. So once again, all of the information that you're going to have at this summit, you can go back home and put your strategy in place. It's perfect time for you to do this before the new year, okay? And so let's start with, again, everything starts and ends with you, the business owner. So capacity and personal well-being, starting with you. How do you show up? How do you rest? How do you manage stress? And what are your boundaries? These are important things that you need to have in place before you move. Again, for the people that, maybe starting off, want to start off a new venture, but it's important to remind yourself this as well for the people that are already doing it, because again, sometimes you forget, and you need to make sure that you put yourself first and foremost at everything you do. An example, a client that loves you, loves your service, and is highly dependent on you, and they want more time, they want more of everything that you have to offer, and you're like, no. I have a boundary, it's in my policy, this is what it is, right? And imagine if you have several of these people, coming to you at the same time, it's going to work on you. And again, the priority is not being overworked and overwhelmed and not being burnt out. So putting you as a priority is very critical in this process. Goals. Define goals that move the business forward without overwhelming the entrepreneur. Okay? Putting in realistic goals. We all want to have a wonderful and big vision and, do great things, but we have to be realistic. And so how many of you heard of SMART goals? Okay, SMART, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So it's important to put those in place so, it helps to build your self-efficacy. When you reach a goal, and you're like, yeah, I did it, rather than having such a far-fetched goal, and you're like, oh, God, I'm so way off, And so it's important to be realistic, aim for the sky, but be realistic in your approach as well. We talked about operations, earlier. Operational structure is critical. People, systems, workflows, delegation, and processes. Being able to put all of those things in place are critical. Why? So you can have a well-oiled machine. We want to create businesses that can run without you having to manage it all day long. That is the goal, And so a lot of times when we're talking about that percentage of businesses that fail, is because they don't have that necessary support or that structure in place a lot of times, okay? Financial stability, cash flow, multiple streams of income, revenue sources, and so maybe if you have a product or you're offering a service, maybe you could offer a product or vice versa, right? And so you want to make sure that you have different avenues that's bringing in money and not solely heavily reliant on just one thing, one service. You want to be able to grow, and so you can constantly have that money flowing in. And if maybe you're in a down season, you know that you can pivot and go to another service and create that visibility because the other one is probably, not generating enough income at that time. All right, smart spending, again, like we said, if you have bad money management skills in your personal life, that's gonna nine times out of 10 come into your business life. And so we want to avoid that by becoming financially savvy business owners, okay? All right, and so last but not least, action. And so we want to, again, take the vision, the strategy, and create action. What good is all of this information if you're not going to act on it? And so create that annual plan. Most people don't even know or have heard about an annual plan. An annual plan is what keeps you accountable. It holds you accountable. What I do is I plan out my entire year for per quarters. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters in a year. And so by the end of each quarter, you should have these goals set, and you should be able to hold yourself accountable each month, each week, each day by tactical planning and holding yourself accountable as to this quarter I want to do this. This quarter I want to focus on that. This quarter I'm going to have this, amount coming in. So by the end of the year, you meet all of your goals. Okay, and hold yourself accountable throughout the year. Manage expectations. Again, we talked about that, having a huge vision, huge strategy and such, but knowing that there's only 12 months in a year, and so you have to be practical and plan and execute. Very, very important. Again, we can have all these wonderful ideas and do nothing with it. Put it in a plan. All right, so again, since the theme of today is sustainability, create your sustainability plan. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Again, we're talking about you as the entrepreneur, your personal life. And so define your business, define your life purpose in the sense of how your business plays a significant role in your life, right? Define what that is and what you want from it. And list your non-negotiables professionally and personally, okay? Make it very clear to the friends, the families, your clients, your customers, what you mean and what you want, what you need, what you expect from, everyone that you're involved with in your life to help, again, build you up as an individual, build your business up, and not take away from you. All right, map out your long-term goals and strategy. Again, we're very strategic in our approach, and so it's important that we put these things in place and have a plan to execute. Identify the systems, the support, and the resources needed. We talked about money being an aspect that contributes to businesses failing, and lack of support. All of these things are resources. And so before you move forward on initiatives, before you introduce a new service, it's important to pause and think through all of these things. Do you have all of these things in place so does it does not impact you heavily as an individual? Okay? And then create the annual plan, just like we talked about, and execute. Execute it. Move forward. manage your expenses, your revenue, and your reinvestment strategy. So when you do all these wonderful things and you bring in the money just start rolling in because you have multiple streams of income, right? You want to know how to reinvest it, okay? If you want to talk about sustainability, you want to talk about how to grow and how to sustain that growth, you have to have a budget set aside of reinvesting your money. The income that's coming in, don't just go, traveling. Don't call me to travel and book your vacation just yet. I got you though. But you got to put that money aside to make sure that you are able to grow the business and sustain it. So marketing, additional support, additional help, and such. So those are the things that's needed. All right, and schedule your quarterly review like we talked about. Break your plan up throughout the year, quarterly. Revisit, revise, and restart. These are things that you will be able to do throughout the year to be successful. Sustaining growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when life, business, and vision work together, not against each other. A sustainable business starts with you being sustained. All right? Thank you so very much. That is the end of my slides. And if you want to reach me, just go ahead. Hopefully that scan works. And go ahead and plug in your information, and we can be in touch. Do I keep this?
Hold on to it. Ah, boy. So, we meet again?
Yes, we meet again.
Yes. So, I was told to ask one question
Okay.
for time's sake.
Yes.
And then we'll get a question from the audience, and then we'll keep it moving. So, here's my question. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all started businesses without a formal education. How important is a formal education to start a business, in your opinion?
Great question. I personally believe it has to do with the individual, their personal goals, and what it is that they want to obtain in life. Me personally, formal education was never my thing. And so I've never stepped foot into a college. I don't even know what it looks like. And so, but I was able to build my life and my business and my professional career without that formal education. Now, education looks different for everyone. I won't sit here and say I don't have any education because I have lots of it. It's just, it did not happen in an institution. Okay, I'm responsible for what it is that I want to learn, what I want to take in. And honestly, being in rooms like this is education.
Absolutely.
And so being able to have a conversation where you're interacting with someone that has more knowledge than you is a form of education. And so it just depends on how you look at life and how you are willing to make the best of, the information and resources that's given to you.
All right. Question. Question? Dr. Perry?
Yes. So as you were talking about business and the pursuit of happiness and how your lifestyle becomes a part of that, how do you balance a lifestyle with family and then balance this career, knowing that business sometimes can be 24/7? And how do you bring your family into it where it's not just yours, but it's your family? And I find that folks are successful bringing their family in. I get you.
Good question. I think, referring back to what I mentioned as far as, the boundaries, communicating what it is that you want, need, what you expect, and visualizing your business, but then also visualizing your life as well and how they go hand in hand. Don't just think about your business from just that one aspect, because again, behind every business is a what? Business owner, right? And so you have to think of yourself as an individual, and with you being an individual comes your family. And so they're going to be impacted, whether it's in a negative or positive way. So bring them along on the journey, have those conversations early on, and make sure they're part of the team. Hire them, and so when we're talking about capacity, put them kids to work. Pay them and write them off on your taxes.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It's a pleasure as usual.
you so much. Right, without wasting much time, we'll go straight to the next speaker. They call her the Money Lady. And
The money chick.
She's the money chick. Good, awesome. Dr. Da Vinci, word, put your hands together for her as she come up.
So we're gonna start with, oh wait, pause, it's no sound. How you guys doing?
Wonderful.
We're gonna try that again. How you guys doing? Okay, that's more like it. That's more like it. I mean, with all this exciting information that we've learned this morning, I'm pumped up and excited as well. So I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today, and I hope that you're going to get something from what I have to share. I definitely have some great speakers to follow behind, and what's crazy or not crazy, right? Divine intervention, nothing is without purpose, is that many of what we have all spoke about and what I'll speak about is all aligned. Many of the concepts that they've spoken about, you'll hear me speak about as well. And so I'm excited. So I'm going to start with this video and then I'll come right back up, okay? Fair enough? All right.
Small business owners feeling overwhelmed? Discover your competitive edge. Unlock AI's power to transform operations and boost your bottom line. Join me, Dr. Darvinchia Warren, at the Small Business Summit for AI plus U equals dollars. Learn AI strategies to make more money with enhanced marketing and optimized pricing. Save money by automating tasks, streamlining financial processes, and minimizing costs. Keep more of your money by improving financial management, mitigating risks, and enhancing loyalty. Don't miss my AI plus U equals dollars at the summit. Unlock financial success with AI.
All right, guys. So, what if I told you that wasn't me?
I was gonna say.
Right. So I made that video just this morning. Yes. And so I'll start. So that was me, like several months ago. I did have my hair like that. I did wear that outfit, the sneakers, all of that. That was my actual office, right? But what I did, to speak to what you asked about earlier, was created my AI twin. Now, I never use her, right? We have other team members like Brooklyn. She's our AI community engagement assistant, but I did that this morning just to kick things off for you guys so you can really see in real time what that looks like and what it can look like for your business. Can we go full screen again, please? Thank you. Awesome. All right. I should look this way. It's not going to the next one. Just click the screen, I think, maybe. Or down. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Okay, here we go. Oh. Okay, there we are, officially. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to start with is the fear, right? We led with questions about, what is AI really, how is it going to impact us, right? That's one of the most common things and one of the things that really keeps people away from tapping into AI. So some of the most common questions. AI, or statements rather, AI is going to replace us. It's too complicated. It's too fast. I don't want to lose the human touch. That's a big one, right? In terms of it replacing us. And also, business is already overwhelming. These are some of the common things that people, or concerns, pain points that you hear when we think about AI, right? Well, what if I told you that that's exactly some of the things that AI eliminates, those same fears. That's exactly what it's here to do. So let's talk about it. So, guys, we've been here before. This is nothing new. Let's think about the internet phase, right? When the internet came, what were people saying? They were like, nobody's going to want
want to shop online. Nobody's going to want to do this online, do that online. Well, it's not safe, you know, all the things, right? Then we had the smartphone era, right? Era, I said error. It was not an error. It was by choice. But we had the smartphone era when people were saying all we need to do on a phone is make phone calls, right? Now we can do everything with our phones, right? Absolutely. And so that is where we are with AI as well. And the idea is that, guys, at every intersection of when something new is introduced, it creates two sets of people, right? The people who fear it and the people who use it. And the ones who use it, they are the ones that win, guys. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how we can utilize AI, incorporate it into what we're doing, whatever that may be. Okay. Whatever that may be, and so that we can tie it into our revenue goals, because every single thing that we do in business is tied to a revenue goal. Of course, it's attached to our why, right? We don't ever go in business just to do business. We are all starting a business for a reason, but it's also tied to a revenue goal. So that is what AI does. We tie it to a revenue goal so that it can help you increase your revenue, but reduce your output, right? Increase your input, reduce your output. So guys, AI is not replacing you. But the thing about it is that someone using AI just might. So it's about whether or not we're going to take advantage of learning how to embrace it, incorporate it, and use it to our advantage, because AI does equal dollars, guys. It really does. It's like sort of like having a 24-hour team of employees, or not even like, it really is. I mean, your AI bots, we'll talk about bots for now. Because my systems, right, we talk about systems, my systems are heavily AI incorporated, right? And so I have a team of 70 AI bots. We'll get into that next. But they work 24 hours a day. They're not getting burnt out. They're not getting overwhelmed, right? If you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a vision, as most visionaries do, it's 4 a.m. for me, right? Then you can go straight to your bot and say, hey, I had this thought, help me build this out, or whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you want, because again, it starts with you, what you're telling it to do. But again, no burnout, no payroll costs. Guys, team is one of the capacity or lack thereof, as the previous speaker mentioned, is one of the top reasons for businesses failing, right? But the lack of access to physical capital doesn't have to eliminate your access to human capital. Doesn't have to come in the way of your access to human capital, because your team, you are as great as your team. And I will tell people all the time that my team is my biggest superpower. So whether that's my AI bots, my college fellows, because we're going to talk about that too, guys. You can utilize other resources, incorporate them into your human capital systems, right? Have them using AI, right? But incorporate workforce development programs that will cover and subsidize those employee costs. So these are just different. I'm the money chick, so I couldn't leave that out, right? But guys, no mistakes, no delays. Now, I wouldn't rely 110% on AI. As our good friend with Do Good Video mentioned, you do want to go back. There's quality control. You are in control of what you're putting out into the atmosphere. But, and as you mentioned, it's a draft. It's a great start. It gives you that foundation that you can then go and build upon and expound, right? So let's talk about my AI bots, my team, my superpower. Okay, there we go. So guys, I have, thanks to the Darius Lucas platform, shameless plug, write that down, Lucas with a K. Darius Lucas platform has empowered me with 70 specialized trained AI bots. I have only paid one time. This is not an ongoing subscription. There was a one-time payment that has now afforded me with a team of 70 specialized trained AI bots in various different industries. So it can, whether it's customer acquisition to pitch perfect. Let's talk real results, right? Because for me, it's not just about telling you what it does, it's about telling you how it worked for me. So I won my very first government contract using Echo. Echo is my pitch perfect bot. Using Echo to respond to an RFP from Baltimore County Public Schools, we were awarded a 5-year multi-agency, meaning any other state school agency within Maryland can adopt this, from utilizing pitch pitch perfect, our Echo, our AI bot. So guys, when I say AI is directly attached to revenue, you can utilize AI to assist you when you're trying to idealize what plan you even want to put in place for your business. What can I do to put together what I need to say when I go and speak to this amazing planner? She's like the organizer of all things. I just absolutely love what she does. But even just before I go to her, what can I tell her? Because this is what I want in the end, right? You can use your AI bots to help you with that, but just literally anything. But most importantly, how much money do you want to make? Because that's the most important goal. And we're tying that into how much money we want to make personally and professionally, because we all have personal obligations that we have to meet. So that has to come into play first. Now, I wanted to do a live demo, but in the light of time, and it was only going to take me about a minute, but just because I want to keep things moving, I won't do that. But I still have gifts. So I'll just leave with this one statement that I was able to identify after incorporating AI into my business. And it was what used to take me 4 hours, now takes me 4 minutes or even less. And you guys have the opportunity to do the same exact thing by identifying what works best for you, what you can do to improve your systems and processes so that it requires less of you, but you get more out of it. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So we're not going to do the live demo, but I do have something for you guys. Maybe I'm putting it the wrong way. Okay, so my call to action, we're using some of the same words, right? My call to action is one for you guys. You now have the ability to take advantage of how you can use AI to translate to revenue. So my formula, as I would like to call it, is AI plus you equals dollars, because it does. Once you incorporate AI into your systems, you will free up time from so much busy work that you'll be able to stand in your purpose, do that kingdom work, do what God has called you to do, right? As opposed to what my business advisor calls busy work. So I'm giving everyone here today access to your free AI plus you strategy session. We'll do a free 30-minute session where we can identify what your goals are, what your plans are, and incorporate some of these tools that I've mentioned to you so that you can, again, free up some of that time from that busy work and step more into that CEO space that you guys are supposed to be in, and allow the impact to do its thing. So that's all I got. I'm gonna step back for a second, open it up if you guys have any questions, or maybe I should I wait for a moment? Okay, perfect. So I'll pause, but definitely take a moment to scan that QR code. This free session, because time is money, guys, and I am booked and busy, right? Out here empowering the community, making sure that nobody is left out of this information, because it's not being talked about, right? So this strategy session is going to be available until Small Business Saturday. That's September 29th. And yeah, guys, I'm going to take a step away so I can sit back and take some questions from you guys. But we are doing some amazing things, just making sure that our communities are not left out of the wealth conversation. AI is just one of the things that I talk about. I'm the money chick, so it's all things money. But I just wanted to make sure that we're enlightening you about the things that many are afraid of. Don't be afraid of it, embrace it, and it will be the direct connection to your revenue growth. So thank you guys for having me today.
Man, she's full of energy, isn't she?
Yes,
I must say, wow, full of energy. All right, one question from me, and then we'll open it back up to the audience. Just want to hear your thoughts, your overview of your thoughts on the restriction of AI use in public education and college campuses across America.
That's a great question. So I will go back to what I think has been said previously as it relates to AI. So, and also what I spoke to about, the different stages that we encountered where new things were introduced. I do not feel that it should be restricted because, again, it's all in the power of the beholder. I think that there should be regulations, just like there is in the insurance industry, in the financial industry. There's regulations to determine to ensure due diligence is being incorporated, right? But we should not eliminate the access because we're then stagnating the next generation, right? It's something that, as I mentioned, is directly connected to increasing productivity, reducing time, and all of us want more time and more freedom, right? And so if we are putting a cap on their access to what is basically empowering the next generation, then again, we're stagnating them, and I do not agree with that.
Okay, all right, good answer. Right to the point. Somebody has a question?
Well, I want to say thank you for your presentation. It was amazing. And AI is really helping me because piggyback on both of your presentations, one issue that I'm having with my business is people want too much of my time. So I'm trying to figure out how I can use AI, and I'm in that process of figuring it out, how I can use AI to maximize my time, because my clients want too much of my time. They want me all the time, and I'm like, I can't give you all of my time.
Yes, and so it does just that. It allows you to step into the things that you really want to spend your time doing, but then not omitting the things that need to get done on the back end.
Okay. Dr. Perry? Yeah, so Thursday I was in front of 5 judges and the top AI scientists from 4 different schools. And so the talk on AI was more about social justice and how we may be left behind. A statement was made that $1 trillion will be invested in AI, and we may only get 1% of it. You have gone off running in many areas in your AI business. I have to say this, because if I didn't, Shirley Lou would be upset with me, and I'm going to go to the question. She's now with Shirley Lou, and she's been with her for I don't know how many weeks, how many months. But Shirley Lou has made millionaires out of women in the investment arena. She came to Shirley Lou with the idea of bringing AI, and this woman was already one of the top financial investors in the country. In months, she took Shirley Lou from where she was low at to major places. And Shirley Lou looks forward to working with you. And she already said that she's going to be the next multi-million-dollar person on her team. And she's already in that direction. But with that said, let's go back to the judges, and let's go back to all those folks that were there where you need to be, because it was academics and not business folks. And sometimes academia and business doesn't come together. Their question was, where do we see AI? Do we need to regulate it, which you've already answered? And how can AI create more multi-business wealth black folks? And how can we get there without being scared? I yield back to you.
Thank you. Great question. And it takes more rooms like this, more people like myself and the other speakers here today that are willing to be in the rooms and provide the information. A lot of times there's so many dollar signs attached to information, and the information is free. And AI, again, is not my business. It's just, my business is finance. I'm the money chick. But I've incorporated, identified, I'm very, exactly, I'm a disruptor in the finance space, and I look for overlooked ways to incorporate and identify wealth erosion. And so I was just appointed, and guys, this is a secret, it has not been announced yet, but I've just been appointed to the Comptroller of Maryland's Financial Literacy Advisory Council. And so I will be, one of my biggest focuses right now is focusing on tax policy reform, identifying where taxpayers' dollars are going, but there's no data to quantify it, identifying ways that information needs to be presented, but it's not, so identifying legislation that will mandate it. Financial literacy is only mandated in 17 states. This, I believe, it may be the first connection that I've seen to financial literacy and AI, as opposed to isolating it and making it its own thing, really incorporating it into seeing how it's tied to so many other things, and how we can really, by combining education with these real world tools, which is what I do, really see that impact. So I think that's really the top focus that should be in that conversation.
Wow. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I got 2 questions. When you say you have 70 bots, are you referring to AI agents?
Yes, they're agents, specific bots, or however you want to call it, but yes.
Okay, for those bots, those 70 bots, is there like a CRM or a database you use to manage them?
So they are all, I use them all through ChatGPT. Every single thing is through ChatGPT, but they were created through the Darius Lucas platform. But I'm able to utilize them all in ChatGPT, so it's a very user-friendly process.
So it's like ChatGPT, GPTs, custom GPTs, or like projects?
They are custom GPTs.
Okay.
Yes, so essentially what he's asking for those that are unfamiliar with this language is what those bots are, what those agents are. And it's something that you guys can create right in ChatGPT. You can create a chat bot that you want to be specialized in something in particular, or that you want maybe to know your specific brand voice and story.
Okay.
All right.
And listen, we out of time, so please stay in touch with me and I will answer all your questions.
We're gonna become the money chicks.
That's right.
All right, without wasting much time, thank you so much. We'll go straight to our next speaker, Dr. Stephanie Muller.
Woo!
Greetings.
Greetings.
How's everyone doing? You're blessed and highly favored. Want to thank Dr. Sammy, along with his beautiful lady, First Lady, and each and every one of you. Some are amazing, amazing, amazing. Each and every one of you are amazing. Why? Because you're here to be empowered today. And thank you. The doctors are in the house. First of all, I would like to share a quote that my 90-year-old mother would share when I was a little girl. She would share the quote from Norman Vincent Peale. By show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of Norman Vincent Peale? Right, he's an American minister, also an amazing speaker, and he's written a book about being positive thinking. And so the quote that I would like to share with you is, change your thoughts and you change your world. And that is what this conference is all about. This summit is all about, to give you the necessary tools to help you to win in the marketplace, to help you win in your personal and your professional life. So change your thoughts and change your world. And so did not know that the book that he had written that would be in my mother's room would change my life 52 years later, when I realized his book was published in 1952. And I say 52 years later because celebrated a birthday in October. So here you see Stephanie Popular Business Solutions. That was one of the, I would say, logos I had years ago, but had to incorporate that. And so today we're talking about sustaining growth and changing times. Just to share with you, I've been establishing 501c3s for well over 27 years. The first 501c3 I established was around 1997, 1998. My mother said, I need a ministry. Do you know how to do this? And I said, I will take on this assignment because I have a legal background. I have a master's from University of Baltimore. All I need to do is go to a bookstore, pick up a book on nonprofit formation. And that particular book changed my life because it talked about the laws and the codes, and I found out that nonprofits can not only start a nonprofit to help for charitable purposes, educational purposes, for religious purposes, scientific purposes, but also you can earn income. By show of hands, how many of you are familiar with Goodwill Industries? All right, and Goodwill Industries, there's a 501c3, and it has a thrift store, and it has other components and elements. And this season, if you don't have a nonprofit, now which I need to ask the question by a show of hands, how many of you have a nonprofit, a not-for-profit, a 501c3? And if you don't, you're working on it. So right little hands. It should be everybody's hand up, meaning that Well, for the church, you gotta raise your hand, Dr. Shandy. First lady, raise your hand. All right. So what I want you to know is that you, if you're going to be very successful, yes, you're successful in your for-profit entity, but you could do a greater work if you establish a 501c3 arm that will collaborate. In other words, your nonprofit and for-profit can collaborate and do what is called cause-related marketing. So some of the items that you want to do, you want to do a radio program, you want to do a TV program, you want to do different initiatives, you can do it almost at low cost or no cost. You can use your 501c3 as leverage to get you opportunities. Opportunities where you can get a car donated. I've had cars donated. You can get houses. In this brief presentation, because it's not, I'm not one with great aesthetics, but yet the knowledge and the content, you're going to see some land that was donated, and I sold the land, and how nonprofits can actually use their 501c3 in their real estate transaction. So by show of hands, how many of you are real estate investors? Okay, none of you. All right. So what I want you to know today is if we change our thoughts, start thinking about how we can change and do things, right? We need to start thinking about strategic partnerships. We need to start thinking on unique ways of how we can win. You can attend college for free. You can attend conferences. I will be flying out to a conference that costs $1,000, but my nonprofit opened that door. So what I want you to do now is start thinking. I'm going to change my thoughts, and I'm going to change my world. Because something is a nonprofit does not mean it's a nonprofit. I'm going to ask a question. By a show of hands, how many of you are familiar with the NFL?
That's my question to you. Why are they a nonprofit?
You said, why aren't they?
Yeah.
See, thank you for saying that. I want you to think it's a nonprofit.
See, my thing is, like she said, how can I be one too? Like that's my thought. That's the why.
It's a nonprofit.
Yes. So I want you to start thinking and being strategic. And one of the things that we can do, we can take any for-profit entity and create a nonprofit arm or make it separate. Now, what I want you to know is that a for-profit cannot really own a nonprofit, but a nonprofit can own. A nonprofit can own a for-profit and do what is called earned income, right? And earned income business. But so with that, then it comes with different taxes and so forth if you're doing unrelated businesses. But all this time, I want you to start thinking outside of the box. By a show of hands, how many of you are familiar with ZELLE? All right, ZELLE is one of the, I would say, platforms whereby nonprofits, 501c3s can use. By a show of hands, how many of you are familiar with Eventbrite? I think all of us. Raise your hand, raise your hand. You know what? I think I always wanted to be a singer, but I'm a poet, you know. So I say all that to say, but I kept hearing a rap, and I'm like, let me stay focused on what we're talking about today. All right, this is not my time to shine to try to sing, because all of you are running out of here and saying, what is it? She needs to stay in her lane. Well, ZELLE is a great platform, 100% free. Like, Eventbrite charges you a percentage. I used it for the graduation we had this year. And when I say graduation, Eventbrite wanted to charge X amount of dollars for a ticket. I went right to ZELLE, 100% free. By show of hands, how many of you have a phone? I borrowed your phone, so you're exempt. I want you to just type in when you can, ZELLE. ZELLE, you can do grant research using this free platform. Try it. It will give you some grants. ZELLE. But if you have a 501c3, you can, when you do your special events, it will not charge. But if you charge it $25, every Monday you can anticipate that your money will be deposited in your account. So, let me show you a few different things. Let me see if I'm going forward or backwards. Okay.
I found this on the web for spell. Check it out.
All right. I said, check it out. I hear a song here. Check it out, check it out. Can everybody out, check it out. Yes. And I want to say, let's give a round of applause to all of the facilitators. They were amazing. Something like this will cost you $197, $297. We need to take up an offering after this. So what do I do, Dr. Stephanie Poplar? I help visionaries turn their ideas into fully operational nonprofits. So I've had the opportunity to establish 501c3s. By show of hands, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Karen Escudilla. She has a ministry, but I established her CDC when there was a school. I've established for Heart and Soul magazine. I've established 501c3s for community leaders, for churches, and depending on what the 501c3 is, will determine what documentation. If you have to do a Schedule A or a Schedule, various schedules. But what I want you to know is I assured them that they thrive long term. So that's where we're talking about the earned income, right? Earned income business. That if you have, I'm going to give an example, that let's say that you have a driving school, right? You have a driving school, it's a for-profit. You can create a nonprofit, and it may be defensive driving. And now you're taking the nonprofit, your for-profit, and your nonprofit, and you're working in conjunction with one another. So that is why I'm saying that if you, all of you are for-profit business owners, but let's start thinking on what will be my nonprofit arm. The videography. Just imagine that if you have a for-profit, if you create a nonprofit arm teaching videography, right? Now you can tap into the funds, your RIOA dollars, you can tap in funds from U.S. Department of Labor or the state. So I want us to start thinking outside the box of how we can do things and create opportunities. And so, what I want to show you,
Point it over
Point it over here.
Point it over here.
Yeah, over here.
Point it over here.
Yeah. Like with the computer, I think it's over
On the computer.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby. You did it.
Okay, thank you. I'm learning new skills.
Look, I'm learning
That's
too.
what I said, we all learning something. Yes. So sustaining growth and changing time. Jumpstarting your nonprofit is having the following ideas. Serve. Who do you want to serve? I want you to think on who do you want to make impact. Believe it or not, you can turn every idea that's a for-profit idea, you can turn it into a nonprofit or idea. So are we going to serve? Are we going to empower? Are we going to educate, enrich lives, provide programs, services? All right, wanted to change on me. For the relief of the poor, charitable, educational, scientific, and religious. We've already heard that the NFL it's a 501c3. We already heard Johns Hopkins. You'd be surprised because it has the word nonprofit does not mean that you cannot generate a profit. That cannot be your sole purpose. If your sole purpose is profit, then you should just focus on the for-profit. But if you have a charitable cause or what, we can make it non-profit, 501c3.
Like right here, babe.
Turn. Yeah. All right, let's consider. Who do you want to serve? My amazing big sister, she's a top makeup artist. I used to travel with her around 19, when I was 19 years old, 20 years old. She's introduced me to a lot of celebrities. Denise, you know how to cook. You know how to do makeup. That is your for-profit, but you can take those same skill set and make it a nonprofit and have it to work in conjunction with one another. Wow. Right? And then those who can't afford your services, those can't afford your service, you know, we're going to create a nonprofit arm, and I'm going to do fee for services. Or I'm going to apply for some grants so individuals can, you know, receive those services. What is your mission statement of the organization? Choosing board members. You want to choose and identify key people that want to see you win. And maybe they busy themselves, right? So you want to have a president, a vice president, secretary, treasurer, but you want to make it intimate because it's your vision, it's your baby. So I also make sure that when individuals get bylaws, right, that the bylaws part specific, but enough where someone cannot just come and take your baby. And I've seen that, where entities, nonprofits have been thriving nonprofits, and all of a sudden the president was voted out. The president and founder voted out of his own entity. So how do you plan to market your nonprofit? We've been blessed that we've been on air for 21 years on Radio 1, and we've been blessed that we've helped many lawyers, doctors, all types of individuals establish their own 501c3. Christina Flowers, you tell her I said,
Yeah, I know.
Should beat me up.
Yeah.
Okay, Flowers, one of my top 501c3 clients. I established her 501c3 10 years ago, or well over 10 years, but I was one of the first to interview her and then help her with a radio platform. I say all that to say that nonprofits can have radio platforms, TV platforms. You can negotiate your terms, right? And sometimes you can get free PSAs, public service announcements. What service do you want to offer? Are you committed to the cause? Capital, who will fund your nonprofit startup? Cost. So yes, everybody wants grants, but the truth of the matter is your nonprofit, not-for-profit 501c3 can do services, fee for services, and I did that for the longest. Someone had given you an idea about CPR, and I said I gotta talk to someone. We did CPR training, CPR first aid training for years, right? And we did fee for services. We didn't apply for grants because I witnessed my aunt passing away, and I didn't know. I thought she was praying. She knew. And this was on January 1st. Can't remember the year, over 18 years ago. And I was the last to talk to her. And I'm saying, how long is that prayer going to be? And I'm like, it's been 5 minutes. Then it's been 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That was short. By that time, I ran to my Aunt Katie, and I said, Katie, your sister, something not going wrong or right with Wilhelmina. She said, oh my gosh, Stephanie, how long? How long was she like this? And I'll never forget the tears coming down, and we getting her down, and I promised myself, I said, God, I said, I'm going to learn CPR, but did not know that the organization that I went to become a staff development training manager would require for me to become an instructor. So I did for the longest just apply. That was when a lot of people weren't talking about CPR trainings, but for the longest time I did fee for services, meaning that you can assess a fee, right? So in assessing fees, then you don't have to worry and wait till you get a grant. So this is the house I want to show you, the land. So I shared earlier that a 501c3 can receive real property, personal property. Personal property can be in the form of cars, trucks, computers, furniture. Just this week, I just received $5,000 worth of brand new Italian furniture. Lady wanted a write-off. She wanted $2,000. I said, just write it off. And I went and we collected that furniture. So, but this is the land. So what happened, just to share with you as I wrap up, that when I was given a nonprofit, a CDC, and by show of hands, a CDC, how many of you are familiar with a CDC?
Is it community development?
Yes, a community development corporation. So what happened was the former councilwoman, she came to me to dissolve her nonprofit. And I said, why would you want to dissolve your nonprofit? You've been changing lives. They were building houses in Seat Pleasant community development, and they were doing workforce development training. I said, don't do that. And I was going to bless someone with a nonprofit, set them up together, a little arrogant. So I said, better yet, just give it to me. She gave me the CDC, and then I get a call some days later, Stephanie, a piece of land and house was donated. What do you want to do? So I had a short window of time. When I say short window of time, you don't have to pay taxes. By a show of hands, how many of you know that you don't have to pay taxes, real property taxes, on nonprofits if you're using the property? See, that's the key, if you're using. So if we were using it, maybe if we were doing a snowball stand, or maybe if we were doing some type of outreach, but because we wasn't, and it was already documented, I had like a few days to come up with $30,000, to maintain, to keep the house. So I said, the devil's a liar. I'm gonna call one of my colleagues, because the real estate background I have, right? All of the different backgrounds I have is all for the purpose of working the nonprofit, right? So I was able to get the house listed. We sold it. The mayor of that town, he wanted me to just give it to him. But what we did was we had to pay off the debt, and then we had like $31,000 left after we did the transaction. Well, the nonprofit, I was working with no salary. And I said, in the event that money comes, salary, I was able to get that as salary, that $31,000 check. So I wanted to show you this, but let me show you how this house looks now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right, let's see. I want you, and it was unfortunately, I had to sell it. Everyone, okay, so, wait a minute. Yes, you can do real estate transaction. You can buy, sell, hold with nonprofits. You can also have beneficiaries. For those who are insurance professionals in here, get with some nonprofits. They can have you can have them to work with their boards and invent that before something happened, if they believe in the vision, they believe in the cause, then they can say, I want to donate a percentage. I'm going to leave or will, a percentage of the death benefits to the nonprofit. There's so much you can do with a nonprofit. But I want to show you how this house looks. Maybe I deleted it. Okay. The gentleman, he bought the house. He bought the land for $61,000. The state did call and said, what is going on? Because it shows that this is worth $100,000. This land is assessed for like $180,000. But I had a short window. Everyone wanted to give me, oh my goodness, right here. Let me read it. House was sold to a local builder for $61,000 in August 2017. The builder built the house and sold the house for $160,000 in 2019. The truth of the matter is, it's creative ways. I'm not going to try to talk real estate because that's my expertise too. But anyway, by the time he really sold the house, worth $300-something. He had a lot of equity. But I wanted to show you that, just start thinking. You could put an ad in the paper, right? And say, I want to donate your cars, right? Donate your houses. So I just wanted to show you that. All right, so that's the conclusion. I know that starting a 501c3 not-for-profit organization sounds intimidating, at times overwhelming, but with some guidance, patience, and good fundraising activity, and with technology, fundraising is really easy now, right? With the right board members, you can make it. So change your mind, right? Change your thoughts, then change your world.
Thank you. Good stuff. We need to change our worlds.
All right. That was deep.
That was
That was heavy. That was, as they say in the streets, that was heavy duty. All right, so, and you started off by saying change your thoughts. And my question is, it's a simple question, but when you let's bring this back home to the church, the church. When you ride around the city, you ride around the county, you see a whole lot of churches folding. Believe it or not, a whole lot of church buildings are empty on Sundays. And I heard you say, change your thoughts, change your world. Most churches that I know a lot of churches that are incorporated, but they never reach 501c3 status. Not because they don't want to, because the leadership in those churches have no clue as to how to move the church in that direction. Most churches are struggling financially because they have not tapped into certain resources that they're eligible to tap into. And a lot of preachers will say, we don't want the government in our business. My question to you, and it's just where can church leaders and church people go to become educated in the area of 501 501c3?
That's an
And
excellent.
the do's and don'ts.
Yes, that's an excellent question. One of the things that I thrive in is being a support to a lot of the faith-based leaders. I've had several other faith-based leaders to come to me and say, I don't want the 501c3 because the government may come in and do an audit. But these same, I would say, pastors or faith-based leaders have had to come back and say, Stephanie, we need to establish a 501c3 because now we're trying to buy a building. We're trying to start a daycare center. Or we're trying to start some type of school. So what I would say is we provide my entity. We have the Stephanie Poplar Business Solution that is for profit, but we also have a nonprofit arm called We Care Baltimore. And We Care Baltimore stands for women, elderly, children, adults, residents, and employers. Right? It's a network, a consortium that provide all types of resources, right, to all of the categories or in the acronym. So we, that nonprofit can provide technical assistance and showing them the benefits and, you know, educating them and removing the fear. One of the things that I believe in, a lot of, I would say, facilitators will say fear, false evidence appearing real. I remember one day on my broadcast, I'm going to say, the Holy Spirit said, fear, face it, embrace it, accept it, receive it. You got to face the fact that you're fearful. And when you do that, then you can begin to work on why do you even have that fear? And then embrace it. And then when you accept it, then, okay, I need to get rid of this. And then receive it. So we provide technical assistance to all the entities. Right now, we have a partnership. I'm grateful for Dr. Sammy, First Lady, but also Concord Baptist Church. I'm now one of the chairman of the budget committee, and I help with strategies and helping to employ strategies not only for Concord Baptist Church, but also other churches.
Okay. You answered my question right there. You gotta get your business card. Anybody else got a question? Going once, going twice. You got a question, Charlene?
I do. Actually, I do. I just was thinking about everything you said, which was so much information. I'm really trying to just soak it in and process everything that was said. But you said a lot of good stuff, mainly around using the nonprofit to do things like establish daycares and things like that. That I know I need to just talk to you offline, because I'm in a building where we work with pregnant women and children, and the building, we have a daycare component of it. But we're not using the daycare, we haven't used the daycare in like 5 years, and it's really been time to use the daycare. That's been one of my pet peeves, being there so long. It bothers me that we have this building, the space, to accommodate people and children in a safe, healthy space, but it does need some work, and I feel like we can do the work. People would be willing to volunteer all the services we need to get done, but we just don't have, I guess, the knowledge to move that part forward. I would like to see that part move forward because the community could benefit from that, and I want to see the people in the community thrive. So it's close to my heart.
Yes, and also if I could just share with you that there are several free trainings, or I would say courses, affordable courses, the 90-hour course. I just found out 2 weeks ago, I totally forgot that I had taken a class in 2002 through Loyola University, the 90 hours.
Okay.
And they sent me the credential, but I just wrote a business plan about the child care. It's a lot of funding, a lot of money.
We need to go ahead and do that. That's what I would like to see.
Thank you so much.
Everybody bow down, Dr. Perry. Cheers together for Dr. Perry.
Everybody, I want to give Pastor Sammy and the First Lady a hand. So I'm going to tell you, I didn't know he could pull this off. I saw all the speakers on the list, and I said, wow, if you do this, I'm telling you, man, you are going to be the Grand Marshal of events. And you did a fantastic job. And thank you for the blessing of the food. Thank you for the blessing of the messages. You know, I met Sammy about a year ago, I guess, or a little longer than a year ago. And so he had this vision. And his vision was, how can he have business and spirituality come together? And so I was kind of the business person. And I have an assistant by the name of Collins. And so we all met and we said, well, how can we put people in a room, not only do it biblically, but teach them business principles? Now let me tell you why I say this. I'm responsible for the University of Morgan State University. I am the outreach officer, been in for 20 years. I'm responsible for putting together functions and what have you. And I put together functions like this, and I'm telling you, the information that you're getting at the way you received it doesn't always happen. And so the community say, you're here to teach us. The university is here to do research, but it's also here to make us better. And so when I look at today, this room needs to be crowded. Matter of fact, this room is not big enough for all the information that came out of this room. Folks may not know, a number of you folks that are here is because of the connection I had in working with Pastor Sammy. And so what I learned today was, one, you know, you can put too much time in watching videos and almost waste your life in doing something that's not productive. And what I heard today from Kyle is, you can watch videos and make money if you do something productive with it. And I was like, okay. I said, you know, when I get home at 8 o'clock, sometimes I'm watching videos to 12 o'clock and then I'm falling asleep. I'm not using my brain wisely. Also heard about how you can do brand yourself, how you can have a hook. Never thought about hooks. Always was that person say, you tell me your problem, I can help you solve it. That's the only hook I had. But that's not a big enough hook. My hook needs to be, are you having a problem? Do you need someone to help you solve it? And I'm the person to solve it. Boom. And so I learned about hooks, also learned about what we talked about in AI, and also how does AI and how does starting a business, how does all that impact us? What we're starting to see now is all those 340,000 women that have been laid off, where somebody thought they were going to put them in a negative situation. They're in a positive situation. They were corporate leaders. And now you start to see ladies like the ones we saw today say, I'm going to empower myself. I'm going to make myself my own business person. But I never saw this up here where I can have 70 assistants work for me off of a telephone. That's powerful. That means you can have the whole world behind you. You just have to ask for it. So I'd like to thank you for letting us know about that. I'd like to thank you about letting us know how important finances is to business and how business needs to think about family. It needs to think about lifestyle. I was in business for over 15 years. I'd say a little longer than 15, but 15 years, strong years. And I never made it a lifestyle. And I think that's why I got out of business and went to education and got a 9-to-5 job, but then came back because it is a lifestyle. I met a gentleman, I'll say his name, Lance London, and maybe some of you may not know him, but I met Lance London in 1990 when he was dreaming about having this big enterprise. And so he came to my office. I had an office down on 18th Street. And we started our meeting at 7 o'clock. We finished our meeting at 7 in the morning. Don, I can't think of her name, Don Moss, and him and somebody else. And I said, why did we go 7, 8, why did we go 24 hours? She said she wanted to see if he wanted to see if you could last. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's a lifestyle for him, not a choice. And so I say this to everyone in here, coming today is a lifestyle, right? It's also a choice, but it's something that you embrace. You want to become better at what you do. You want to become a better person. You want to follow God's principles. And in order to do that, you need to be in a place that's going to give you that type of information and spiritually enrich you. And so what I want to say to you, Pastor, with the dream that you have, I want to have a summit. You know, we're going to work on having a summit at Morgan State University, and we're going to put you in front of 400 people and have all of our guests here to do a presentation. And so we thank you for everything, and please come up.
Woo!
Thank you, sir. First of all, I want to appreciate everyone, to all the speakers, God bless you, and also to the committee, because this is a conference we started yesterday, Excellence 2025. Yesterday night was a revival. If you were here yesterday and you're blessed, put your hands together for Jesus. Awesome. It was awesome. We'll be concluding tomorrow. So please join us in town from 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I know that when you come, you'll be blessed. So the committee, God bless you. God bless you. I know I can't do this myself. To the church, God bless you. And to all the speakers, I want to say this is just the beginning, because the whole world is going to hear your voice and you'll be sought after in Jesus' name. I need you to know, let us rise, because I'm going to run down. To sustain growth in changing time, some things I'm going to leave with you. Number one, you must have the spirit of excellence. The Bible says in the book of Daniel, an excellent spirit was in him. So it doesn't matter what you do without the spirit of excellence, they're going to drop you. Integrity is the second thing. It matters. When you have integrity, no matter how old-fashioned you are, they'll still call you. So you keep growing. Excellent spirit and also integrity to do everything. And for you to have an excellent spirit, you must be a child of God. The Holy Spirit is that spirit of excellence. You might be doing it the way the world is doing it, but it's still not excellent without the Spirit of God. Hello, young lady. What's going on? What's going on?
I thought she wanted her friend.
Praise the Lord. So let's take time to. Oh, all right. Thank you, sir. We're gonna take offering because I had someone said this is an event worth of 200 whatever. But the point is, we'll always do it for free till Jesus comes. The Bible says, I wish above all things that you do what? You prosper. Even as your soul prospers. So in this church we teach excellence, we teach spiritual, but we also teach the way you can be financially free. Because it's important. It's important. The Bible says it's by wealth that the kingdom will be made known. Jesus would have wasted on the cross without the wealthy man that went to get his body, because he was a man of influence. So I've come to tell you that it's a privilege to have everyone in this room. It's a privilege because I know the faces that I'm seeing right here are men and women of influence. I know knowing you alone can open doors for me. It's a privilege. Let's package the tithes and our offering. Can you give the envelope out? And to all the members, thank you. Thank you. We were here like 10 yesterday, and I'm back here again this morning, 9. God bless you. And tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Also, I need you to know that one of the Sundays in December, we're also going to be having the planning experts in the service. So to talk about planning again, so we can plan for the coming year. Praise the Lord. Can the envelope go around? If you want to give online, you can give. God bless you. Father Lord, I just pray on the offering that you will use it for your glory. Bless everyone giving. And I pray from now that they shall praise for your financial blessing. In Jesus' name, amen. And also if you are in DC, we are coming to DC. We are coming to DC. Excellence Church meeting. Coming to DC, and we're also going to start with programs like this. And hopefully next month, if you this, let's talk. God bless you. Also to my beautiful wife, God bless you. Thank you. So the chairperson planning committee, God bless you. God bless you to everyone, all the church members. God bless you. We appreciate you. All the speakers, we're grateful. Remember, this is just the beginning. We're going places together. Going places together. Father, thank you for today. Thank you for everything that we have learned. Would you please help us to use it? Help us to put everything into work. And as we do, please let us achieve success from it. Thank you, precious Father. And I pray that as we go before us. Direct our paths. And let your name alone be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. Do well to eat something at the back. Still try to eat something. And there's
take a picture together.
Brother Gary.
Can we all take a picture together?
Let's take picture. Let's take picture. Can you stop the live? We've got live right. Let's go off live. And let's take picture.